Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on a very snowy day here in Surrey today. We have had lots of snow. It's absolutely freezing. The light actually in my room is a bit different from usual. Anyway, that's beside the point. We're going to be having a look at a puzzle called Coordinate Arrows by Damo_89. And one of the reasons we're taking a look at this is that we had a very, very fulsome recommendation to try it from none other than Erin Tola. Now, Erin not only featured in one of our first viewer solve videos a few months ago, but Erin's puzzle was the one that Don and I solved in the very recent viewer video, which I think might have come out on New Year's Day. Erin is a brilliant mind, and she said something about this one like she might have said it's one of the best puzzles she's done in ages, and maybe one of the best puzzles of the year. Now, you may joke and say, well, we're very early in the year, but I think she meant that as if we were at the end of last year. And one of the testers had a look at it and agreed wholeheartedly that this is quite brilliant, described it as a puzzle for the connoisseurs. So I'm going to have a look at it today. Apparently it's quite tricky, but the rules, I had a look at the rules. I thought I understood them, so I've got no excuses. And I'll read you the rules of this one in a moment or two's time. But before that, let me mention a couple of things. I'm going to mention last night's Blueprint stream, which it was just wonderful how those streams are going at the moment. So many people are really invested in how we're getting on. So many people don't seem to mind quite as much about our ineptitude. And the game itself, it can be the most frustrating game you've ever played in your life, but it gives you just enough. And you sometimes find things. And it really is revelatory. It's an incredible game. The depth of it is really extraordinary. So thank you to those of you who joined us. The VOD is up. So if you didn't manage to make the stream live, you can watch it now. And I hope, obviously, that we'll be returning to it. There's definitely unfinished business. Probably next Monday, I would guess. What else can I tell you about? Over on Patreon, we have got our monthly competition, haven't we? So this is, let me go here, the Off by One Paint by Numbers Institute, but really Panthera's Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles. And look how many people we had who saw. Let's see where we're up to. So at 1257 and 256. So let's reload. 1257, 256, 1351. And 323 solvers of all the puzzles. It's phenomenal. It really is. It's so brilliant how many people, give these hunts a really good go. And well done to all those of you who've managed to get through all 13 puzzles. That is terrific work and very impressive indeed. The closing date's the 20th, so plenty of time if you've not entered yet or even started yet. Good luck. Do get involved. Now, I've also got a couple of birthdays to do today. Really nice birthdays, actually. Luna over there in New Jersey. You've turned 8 today. I'll let you in on a secret. 8 is my favourite number. So you've turned my favourite number. I know this because your dad, David, wrote me an email and thought that you might appreciate a shout out. I think a strawberry shortcake might be on the menu today. Is that the cake that you prefer? I think your dad was going to try and get you some cupcakes. There's some very, very heavily iced cupcakes as well. So I hope you enjoy that. And I was delighted to hear that I think the whole family may watch these videos as sort of as part of a nighttime ritual. So Luna, you've also got one of my favourite names. And I hope you have a brilliant birthday. Many, many happy returns. Now, we also had the most extraordinary email about Monica's birthday from Terence. And if you will just permit me, I'm going to read you at least some of this because I found it incredibly moving. So Terence writes, "Hi Simon. Would you please give a shout out to my wife Monica for her 44th birthday today, if there is still time. Before suffering a serious stroke nearly 2 years ago and spending about a month in the ICU here in Seattle, Monica was a voracious Classic Sudoku solver. I bought her a book with Sudokus in it to help her pass the time in the hospital, and watching her solve Sudokus when she was confused about where she was and what had happened to her and couldn't walk or see very well or remember anything from 5 minutes prior was a huge source of reassurance to me during that trying period. Despite some lingering memory and vision problems and an invasive but successful follow-up brain surgery in July, which hopefully puts the whole ordeal behind us permanently, her recovery has been excellent, and our lives are now mostly back to normal, except that we now spend quite a lot of time working together to try and solve the daily Cracking the Cryptic videos before watching you and Mark do them to see how we got on. I understand this isn't a particularly happy topic, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers haven't been as lucky as we have with brain-related medical issues, so I understand if you would prefer to keep it vague, or not even mention it at all. If possible, I would like very much if you could say something close to, well, I'm actually going to say it exactly, Terence. Your husband wants you to know that he loves you and is very proud of you. That is the mantra I repeated to her endlessly in that hospital and in the months afterwards as she worked on her recovery. Monica is also an avid baker, and it took a long time for her to develop the confidence to bake again and to find joy in it, but she has gotten there, and so I am a frequent beneficiary of sweet treats. She even has a famous chocolate cake recipe that she hasn't made for a couple of years that fits your standard description of a birthday cake to the letter. And that was Terence's email. So, Monica, happy birthday. I was very moved by Terence's email, actually, and the thought that these puzzles can provide solace at times like those that you've been through it's fantastic and quite astonishing. And well, I know Terence is proud of you. I'm proud to hear how well you're doing, and I send you all warm wishes, continued best wishes for your recovery, and I hope that you get some of that famous chocolate cake. I hope both of you get some famous chocolate cake sometime in the near future. Many, many happy returns. And that is all the news. So let's have a look at coordinate, arrows. I think I will be able to explain the title once we've read the rules, because there are some doublers in this one. By Damo_89. The rules are as follows. We have got a normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column. Ooh, whoa, lost my army. And every 3x3 box, there we are. Doublers. 9 cells in the grid are doublers, 1 in every row, column and 3x3 box, each containing a different digit. The value of a doubler cell is double the digit in that cell. So if that is a doubler, and say it was an 8, then that would be a 16 in terms of its value. And now we've got these coordinate arrows. So coordinate arrows, values on an arrow spell the coordinates for the value that is their sum. The row value is on the start of the arrow, and the column value is on the tip. And there's an example, so don't worry if that sounded like gibberish. For example, if an arrow contained the values 1 and 5, that must be. So let's put, can we do that? 1 and 5 there. Then a 6 or a doubled 3 is to be placed in row 1, column 5. Yes, okay, so the first number on the arrow is the row, so row 1. The second number is the column, so that's column 5. So in row 1, column 5, you put the sum of the digits. Or no. You put the sum of the values. So that would be, oh, I see, and that could be double 3. Oh, that's vicious. So that could be 6 or 3 if it's doubled. And presumably these, yeah, it's the values on the arrow as well. So you could have a, you know, if that was a doubler, then it would be saying, oh, that wouldn't work now. But if that was, oh no, that really wouldn't work. Okay, let's just make it bigger. Let's make it 7. That, oh no, that now I've got a clash there. Okay, I'm going to make it 6. So row 2, column 6 is an 8, I think. Because that has value 2. So you add 2 to 6 to get the value you put in there, but you're also looking at row 2 and column 6. Whoa, okay, that could get very confusing. Oh, and one more rule, which is presumably important. It says, let me just delete that. It says each arrow indicates a different cell. So if this was indicated by this arrow, then this arrow couldn't indicate that cell, or no other arrow could indicate that cell. Yeah, okay, and that's, let me just double check, that they are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now I'm just going to check that my recording it does seem to be working. That is a relief. Now, I have done a coordinate arrow puzzle or two in the past, and I do remember something about them, but I think that's busted here. Because what I remember about them, imagine, okay, let's imagine there were no doublers in this puzzle. Then there would be an absolute cap on the value. Yeah, this is vicious, actually. So what let me try and explain. If this was a 6 and this was a 5, that's impossible. Absent doublers. In fact, it doesn't even work with doublers, but it's impossible. Why? Well, because it's saying write an 11 into the grid. 6 plus 5 is 11. You can't write 11 in. So the thing is, in ordinary, the fact that there's a concept of ordinary coordinate arrows is slightly strange, but in an ordinary coordinate arrows thing, you can't make the arrow add up to more than 9. And what that means, yeah, I've remembered this now, is there's this sort of area of the grid. I'm going to say it's like that, into which you could coordinate, i.e. any arrow would have to be placing a digit into this portion of the grid, because if you say try to use that cell, that is row 5, column 7, and 5 and 7 add up to 12, and you can't write 12 into this cell. This diagonal represents a 9, this diagonal represents an 8. You can see, because let's go to this cell, that's row 4, column 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Now, the problem here, and the reason this is going to be complicated, I think, is that in this puzzle, yeah, for example, this cell here, that is row 6, column 6. So that would have the value of 12, but you could create a value of 12, couldn't you, by using, if that was a doubled 6, it would work. So if this was 4, oh no, hang on, no, okay, it wouldn't work because you couldn't coordinate it. Oh, you could though with a doubler. Yeah, you could do double 3. Oh, this is really confusing, because you could do double 3, 6. So that's saying put in row 6, column 6, a doubled 6, like that. So all bets are off, basically, is what we've established. Now, okay, so the other thing that makes me, I suppose, is ringing alarm bells the moment you look at this puzzle, is that in ordinary coordinate arrows, because you can't make the 2 digits on the arrow add up to more than 9, you could never have a 9 being plonked on arrows, but you do have 9s being plonked on arrows in this puzzle. Straight away, straight out of the block, this 9 puts 9s on arrows, where they're not meant to be. So what does that mean? So that means the 9 can't be doubled wherever it lives on these arrows, because there aren't. If the 9 was doubled, it would be saying in row 18 or column 18. That's a nonsense. So the 9, wherever it is natural, but it's putting a digit bigger than 9 into either column 9 or row 9. So somewhere in that panoply of digits is where these 9s are indexing into. And they're, yeah, okay, but we can't. Yeah, that's interesting. You can't index into even, okay, I'm not articulating this very well, but it's not very easy to do. What I'm saying is, no, what I'm about to say is, now, brain, let's write a check our mouth can cache. The minimum value of whichever of these arrows has 9 on it would be 9, 1. That's 10. Can you write 10 or its equivalent or double 5 into a cell that is on an arrow? No. Because if that was a 10, if that had the value of 10, then that's saying row 10. So, and because the minimum value of whichever arrow has 9 on it is 10, all of these cells, all of the ones with arrows on them, are not where these 9s are indexing into. Now, here's an interesting point. That cell, row 9, column 9, is not where either of these is indexing into, because we know that the only way to put a value of, say, 10 in the grid is going to be to have a doubler. And if this was a doubler, then there would only be one doubler in column 9 and row 9, and yet we were told in the instructions that the 2 arrows that have 9s on are not allowed to both index to this position. So that can't be a doubly thing. So there's 2 positions. Yes, okay, so one of these 9s is indexing to column 9. I don't know if it's this one or this one. And one of the 9s is indexing to row 9. So if it was this one, that would be row 9, column 1, which the value of the coordinates would sum to 10. I can't write 10 into that, so that would be double 5. The same is true there by the sort of diagonal rule. That's got to have the same value. So one of those could be doubled 5. That's lovely. That one can't work. This one can't work because it generates an odd number. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful idea. Damo_89. Can I just call you Damo? The _89 feels like a surname. Yeah, if this one was being coordinated into, this is row 9, column 2. So its value is 11. How do we generate a value of 11 in the world of doublers? A doubler necessarily creates an even digit. It's 2 times a number. So this one you can't generate. That's impossible. That one's row 9, column 7, which is 16. So that could be double 8. That one is... No, that one... This is lovely. This doesn't work. That's row 8, column 9, creating a value of 17. I can't create that with a doubler. Right, so the doubler... Well, the coordinate that is being indexed in column 9 is that one. That is Oh, no, this is beautiful. This is so sick. This is just gorgeous. It's beautiful, yeah, because this now is row 1, column 9, so its value is 10. Well, I can create a 10 with a double 5, but in creating a double 5 here, I've realised now this one can't be indexed. Because how do you create a value of 10 in this puzzle? You have to put double 5, and we're told all the doublers are different. So that's not allowed anymore to be a doubler. So this must be a doubler, and that's got to be an 8. And that's 2 digits we've got in the puzzle, and there's a 5 up there by Sudoku. I get 4 given digits here, which is a rarity. Oh, that's so... It's really very, very smart setting, this. So that is row 9, column 7. So it looks like it's this one, doesn't it? Because 7 is on these arrows. So if the 7 was in the bottom and the 9 was in the top, that would be row 9, column 7. And 8 is on those arrows now. And this one is row 1, column 9. So that's either saying one of these is a 1 and one of these is a 9, which would put 9 on that arrow. I don't think that's possible. I'm going to come back to that thought in a moment. Or this is row 9, column 1, row 1, column 9. So there would be a 1 here and a 9 here. Am I wrong? I don't think I am wrong. I might be, though. If I put 9 on an arrow again, I've already got 1 9 on an arrow there and 1 9 on an arrow there. If I put any other 9 on an arrow, that arrow is saying write a value that's more than 9 into row 9 or column 9. I can't do it because these two have definitely already been indexed by these, so they'd have to be re-indexed. I can't put a second doubler in row 9 or column 9, so I'm not having it. I don't think 9 can be there in those ones. So 9 is in these ones, which means 9 is up there, but these ones indicate the row, so this one must be that one. Row 9, column 7. So there is a 7 in here. Oh, this is the wrong way round though. Row 9, column 7 is that one. So this one needs to index that one, which is row 1, column 9. So the 9 comes out of there. There's no... Well, that's what the logic is saying, so we have to obey it. So 9 is in one of those 3. We can't put 9 on an arrow. Isn't that what I just said? I don't think I can. I'm not believing that can be a 9 for exactly the same reason I couldn't put a 9 up there. Now, what does this mean? The pregnant pause while my brain tries to come up with something. Come on, brain. So, one of these... Okay, there's an 8 on an arrow here. So that... Again, okay, I have to go through this so slowly every time. The 8 can't be doubled, because the 8 would then be indexing into row 16 or column 16. So the 8... Oh, in fact, yeah, the 8 can't be doubled because we've already doubled an 8 as well. But so this arrow that has the 8 on it in box 6 is plonking something into one of either row 8 or column 8, depending on whether the 8 is in the tip of the arrow or the sort of shaft of the arrow. And yeah, but this time well, hang on, no, it's not as easy as I thought, actually. What I was going to say is that I can put a doubler in, for example, row 8 that would allow, for example, if it was row 8 column 6, row 8 column 6 would then have a value of 14. Now, absent the arrow, that would have been achievable because I could have doubled a 7 here. But with the arrow, you can't have a value. We know you can't have a double-digit value on arrows. So in row 8, where could the 8 be indexing? Not to those. These all have values greater than, well, that would be a 12, 13, 14. That doesn't work. These are even bigger. They don't work. That cannot be a doubler. That one is row 8 column 2. That can't work then. It's got a value of 10, and we've already had double 5, and we can't write a 10 into that cell because there isn't a column 10 in the puzzle. Now what about, that's lovely. Row 8, hang on, this is bad news. No, it's okay. Yeah, row 8 column 3 has a value of 11, which I can't create with a doubler. So I could create that one. I was about to say I can't create anything, but I could create that one. That's row 8 column 1. That doesn't require a doubler because it could be a 9. In fact, look, I've got a pencil mark of 9 into these two. So if this was a 9, then this could be an 8 in one of those and a 1 in one of those. So that is, I'm just going to notate that quickly. I'm just going to write yellow into that because we've got to think about this column. Now in the column, it's going to be the same for the arrow cells. This is too big, isn't it? Row 8 column 7. No, sorry, no, that is row 7 column 8, but it's 15. I can't create a 15 value with a doubler. So all of these are out. So it would have to be one of these 3. Yeah, but there's a doubler in this box already. So it can't be this one. This is row 2 column 8. That has a value of 10. That has a value of 11. I can only create those sorts of values with doublers and only even values in any case. And there are many, many reasons why this cell is therefore impossible. But that one again is possible because that's row 1 column 8, and 1 and 8 add up to 9. Right, so I don't know which of these is 9, but one of them is. I don't know where the 8 goes then. But I do know there's a 1. There's a 1 on this set of arrows because it's either row 1 column 8 or it's row 8 column 1. And one of those yellows is definitely a 9. Now, what does that mean? So we've got, I don't know. Sorry, I don't see it at all. I know one of the yellows is a 9 being indexed by this group of arrows, one of those group of arrows. And which way round did the... Yeah, I couldn't put 9 there, could I? So this one was the arrows here are indexing that cell, and the arrows here are indexing that cell. So that, right, so the 1 and the 9 here are sort of tied together with an indelible ligature, either there, or there. The 7 hasn't therefore got a 1 on its arrow. So there is a 7, right, so there's a 7 on an arrow in box 8, and it could go with a 2, maybe, or it's difficult actually. Oh, goodness. Yes, so it's the same thing, isn't it? We have to think about these cells, because there is a 7 on an arrow in this box. Don't know whether it's on the shaft or the tip. And that 7, the only way it doesn't index into a doubler is if it is a 7-2 arrow, because it can't be a 7-1 arrow because of Sudoku, because the 1 and the 9 are tied together on an arrow here. And a 7-2 arrow doesn't work whichever way round it is, because that's either row 7 column 2 being a 9, ruled out by Sudoku. This is why this 9 is here. I know the 9 did jobs earlier, and this is row 2 column 7, and that sees a 9. So the 7 is going with a digit that must be odd, therefore, because we know the total of the arrow now needs to be even to allow us to double a number to reach that total. And it can't be 7 and 3, because that would create a double 5, which we've already had in the puzzle. So it's either 7 and 5. It can't be 7 and 7. That's a concept. And it can't be 7 and 9, because the 9's on a different arrow. 7 and 7 won't work for Sudoku-related reasons, so it's 7 and 5. So this is either... this is fine. This is fine. We know which one it is as well. Because it's 7 and 5, which sum to 12. So it's either this one or this one. It's either row 5, column 7, or row 7, column 5. But that cell, whichever one it is, has to be a doubler. That can't be a doubler. It's already been seeing a doubler in the column. So it's that one. That's a doubler. It's a 6, because 7 and 5 is 12, and we need to create a value of 12 here. And this is row 7, so the 7 is in this row, and the 5 is in the bottom row, because that represents the column. Oh, this is spectacularly clever, this puzzle. Now, there is definitely a doubler by Sudoku in those 3, and these 3. And that might mean something. Although what? I don't know. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? You have these little moments where you can race forward. And I don't know what that does. So this is a 7 on top of a 5. And I know there's a 7. Oh, the 7 over here is because it's column 7 for this 8. So can I put 8 on that arrow, or does that also fail? I think that'll be okay, probably. Because I could... Oh, hang on, if I have 8-1 there, isn't one of these 8-1? Oh, this is so confusing. It's so difficult to keep track of what's going on. I've got... Yeah, this box, yes, this is important. This box has a 9-7 arrow, which is indexing this, and an 8-1 arrow, which is indexing one of those. And I don't know which way round that goes. But because one of these arrows is 1-8 horizontally, if there was an 8 in one of these and that plonks 8 up here, how's that going to work? Now, The only thing I'm going to allege for definite is it's not an 8-1 arrow, because one of these is an 8-1 arrow and that will break. That'll be too many 8s and 1s in the column. But could I put 8 here with another number such that it creates a doubler, if you see what I mean? It's not that easy to do that, actually. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's lovely. It's incredibly intricate, but it's impossible. 8-1 won't work because that breaks these. 8-2 would work perhaps, but we can't do it. We can't create another value of 10 in the puzzle, because that's the only cell that can create that in the puzzle. We've already indexed that one. So 8-2 won't work. 8-3 doesn't give a doubling possibility, and anything more than that is indexing into those cells, which can't be. Well, you can see in row 8 there's no possibility of a doubler in any of those, and in this column the only possibility of a doubler would be on an arrow, and that would make the column more than a 9, the column being indexed into. So there is no 8 up there, which means there's no 8 here by Sudoku, which means there's an 8 here. So the 8-1 is the 8 on the left and the 1, sorry, the 8 on the right and the 1 on the left. So we can do, so it's row 8, column 1. So that one is the 9, which means we better get rid of our yellow, because that's what I was trying to remember with that pencil mark. So that is not a doubler, because we're saying in row 8, column 1, write the value of 9. So I don't want to double it and make a value of 18. So this is not a 9 now. So this is a 9. Let's double click. I've only got 2 9s. It feels like I've done a lot more with 9s. And I've got an 8 up here as well. And I know we're just going to go back into, oh, no, we're not. Oh, that's lovely. I don't know what it means, but 1 and 7 are there, and 1 and 7 are there. So I've got a 1-7 pair in box 9. Oh no, I haven't. There's a 7. I've got a given 7. Oh goodness, I've got a 1 and a 7. Right, I can do more Sudoku now. Yeah, I've got a 7 up here as well. And I've got a 1 on this arrow. And that's a column. That's in column 1. And that has to be a natural digit. I tell you what we should do. And I should have done this earlier. I should highlight all the cells that can't be doublers. That would be sensible, because I think it'll help me to keep track of the possibilities. So anything that sees a doubler has to be natural. Now, have I missed any possibilities there? So all these arrows down here are natural. All these are natural. There's still a... Ooh, actually, hang on. Okay, I should think about this, shouldn't I? Because the 9-7 arrow and the 8-1 arrow up here are totally natural. They don't involve doublers. But something here is doubled, and it's in the column numbers. So it can't... Whatever we double has to be little. It's got to be 2, 3, or 4. The 1's been hypothecated already with the 8, so it can't be 1. So 2, 3, 4 are the possibilities, and they're gonna index into or put a coordinate into column 4, 6, or 8 if it was double 4. But if it was double 4, no, it's not. Okay, it's not double 4, because that would put a value of 8 in the tip of the arrow. The value in the shaft of the arrow couldn't be a 1, so it would be at least a 2, which means the overall value of the arrow is a double-digit number, then that would need to be put into this column. And the only places we could put such a double-digit value would be in the tip of an arrow, and thereby breaking the arrow, because we'd be saying column 10 is a something, and that doesn't work. So it's 2 or 3 here is the doubler. Okay, I'm going to just make a note of that, so that these cells are they're definitely including 1 and 7, and then either 2 or 3. And 2 or 3 are going to have the value of 4 or 6, and are going to be putting stuff either there or there. And quite a big value as well, especially if it's double 3. Because if it's double 3, that's 6 already, and this can't be a 1. So we're at least putting an 8 in. So, yeah, it could be something here, perhaps, with a doubler. It's either... Let's just think this through. Well, oh dear, 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 this is so confusing. I don't think it's double 3 here with a 2 there. That doesn't work, because that's the overall value of the arrow is 8, and that's saying write an 8 here in row 2, column 6. And that can't be an 8, because then we're indexing a value that's... We can't index this one. That one's already been indexed. I can't remember what by, but I know we were... Yeah, the 8 and the 1 here have indexed that one already. I don't... Is there a way I should record when something's been indexed? It's a bit difficult because, I mean, I know the 5 here has been indexed by the 1 and the 9 there, but I don't know which arrow it is that's done it. Yeah, but so the only way this works is if it's got to create a double-digit value, and that means presumably this one, but that's row 8, column 3. I can't index into that, because that would be a value of 11. I can't create it. And if this is 8, 2, that's this cell, but that would put double 5, which we've already had. Yeah, there's some way to do this where I don't know whether I'm meant to mark the diagonals once I've... I don't quite see it. Yeah, you can never... There are only certain diagonals that you can ever get onto. You always have to leave a gap for sort of the digits that have an odd value, if you see what I mean. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but anyway, this can't be an 8, is what we've just deduced. So the only way that the doubler here is a 3 is if it's indexing into one of those cells, which means we're looking at row 4, column 6. That wouldn't work. That's a double 5 again, isn't it? Row 4, column 6 is a 10. Row 5, column 6 is odd. That doesn't work. Row 6, column 6, that's the example. No, row 6, column 6 doesn't work, because that's going to require this to be a 6, or a double 6, which we've already had. Right, so it's not 3. This is now a 1, 2, 7, triple, and I don't know. I presume we're indexing into one of the white cells here, but that's not even true, is it? I might be wrong. So we've got a value of 4 for the column, and this can't be a 1 or a 2, so it's at least a 3. So row 3, column 4. Row 3, column 4 could be a 7. Is that possible? Bobbins. I think it's the statement we're looking for. That looks like it could be a 7. Or, if this was more than 3, if this was 4, row 4, column 4, could that be an 8? Maybe it could. I don't think we can go beyond that, but I'm going to try and think that through. My gut reaction is we can't, because isn't that putting a value of 9 on here? And haven't we worked out we can't put values of 9 on arrows anymore, because we've sort of used up our 2 opportunities to do something so ridiculous. And down here, that's going to be crazy talk. I must be right about that. I'd say row 7, column 4, or row 8, column 4. Yeah, we need these to be doublers, and they can't be. Yeah, so we're good. We're good. It's one of those two. So that's row 3 or row 4 with 8 or 9. Actually, I'm going to leave the corner pencil mark in, because there is definitely an 8 and a 9 here, and there's either 3 or 4. Now, 2. Oh, bobbins. Where's 2 in box 9? One of those 2 cells. So 2 is... Can 2 go on the arrows down here? In the tip of the arrows would be indexing something into column 2. Might be okay. And this digit is going with column 1. So if this was a 3, row 3, column 1 would be a 4. Or row 4, column 1 would be a 5. Or row 5, column 1 would be a 6. Or row... They couldn't put... That can't be a 6, but I think it's got a lot of options, actually. So... Oh dear. It's not... I can't get something on this arrow, can I? I don't think I can. Obviously, if this was 2, that would put a 2 on this arrow, but if this is 2, it wouldn't. Okay, let's take stock then. So what... We've had doubles 5, double 6, double 8, double 2. So I've got double 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, 7, 9. 1, 3, 4, 7, 9. So this doubler down here is not 7 or 9. It's not 1, actually. That's quite good. So the doubler here... Have I got that right? I'm just sorry. I'm just a little bit worried that I've mislogicked. I've undercooked my logic there. I should have 5 numbers that I haven't yet doubled, and they are definitely 1, 3, 4, 7, 9. These here definitely can't be 7 or 9 or 1 apparently. So they are. It's either a 3 or... Ooh. So it's either 3 or 4. Is the doubler there? I don't really know how to indicate that. Maybe you can't put them. 4 presumably is very difficult to put in the tip of the arrow, because that would be worth an 8, which would be a column 8 deduction. Yeah, but that's not that. See, that could be a 1. If that's a 1 and that's a doubled 4, that would say put a 9 there. And that could be a 9 according to my pencil marks. Can I put 8 on this arrow? I mean, obviously I can't put 8 in the same row as an 8. But if I put an 8 in one of those 3 cells, then again I can't partner that with a 1. Yeah, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work at all. Because it's the same thing as we've been going through. If I do put 8 in here, I'm saying I'm writing a value that's a double-digit value. I'm indexing into this row. There's no possibility to do that. That would be a double 5, which we can't do. And everything else can't be doubled because the only doubled possibilities are these two. And that's irrelevant because that would create that's in an odd position, if you see what I mean. So 8 is in one of those two cells. So 8 is in one of these two cells. Now that's immediately very annoying because that could be an 8, or I just worked out that could be a double 4, and they have the same value. So 1 could go with either of those. So either, if that, okay, let's think this through. So if that's 8, that's saying this is a 9. If this is an 8, that's one possibility. The other possibility is it's a doubler, in which case we know it's 3 or 4. And then this one, well, it depends. I mean, if that's 6, that would be saying write something into this column, and it looks like there's a lot of possibilities there. Let's just think about that for a second. So could you couldn't do row 4, column 6, that's 10 and a bit. Yeah, you couldn't do anything down here, so it would have to be an early doubler. What about... Yeah, and that's evil, but it might be possible. Oh no, that doesn't work, because that repeats the 3. I was thinking this could be a 9, and it would be row 3, column 6, but of course that doesn't work, because to create row 3, column 6 on this arrow, you'd have to go 3, double 3. That's the only way of doing it, which is weird, but I think it seems to be true. So the only way this is a 3 is if I think we have to be looking at this cell, which makes this a 2. And it would make this an 8. And that doesn't work again. We worked out earlier this couldn't be an 8 for some reason when we were looking at this arrow. I can't remember how we did that at all. That's very odd. Yeah, no, I do. I was thinking about 3s in those positions, which is the same as this being a 3, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think this can be a 3. I think there's just no way it works for the same reasons as when we considered one of those being a 3. Although, that's wrong. That's wrong, isn't it? Because what you could do is make this a 1. And row 1, column 6 is that digit, and that could be a 7. Oh, it's so evil. Okay, I can't. I give up. I can't do it. Okay, so what's that digit then? It depends, because if this is a doubler, then that is an 8. But if this is an 8, then this is the doubler, and then it's 3 or 4 again. Oh, that's weird. Because we know it can't be 7, 9, or 1, and it has to be a doubler. So these are all... that's not 3. The other thought I had there is whether this digit is always a 1. That might be true. Because if that's 4, that's worth 8. So we're looking down this column, and we know that we can't create a double-digit value. So that would have to be a 1 to create a 9 here. So we're either creating a 7 here, a 9 here. And that's the same if this is 8. That's still going to be a 1. This is always a 1, which is a bizarre deduction. In fact, it might not even do anything. Because I don't know what it's doing something to one of those two cells, but I don't know which one. Because it depends what this is. And in one case, even if I knew this wasn't a 3, and it would mean I knew this was a 9, but I wouldn't know what that digit was still. Whoa, I mean, this has been put together with some care and attention, hasn't it? So 5 is now up there in this box by Sudoku. So 5 is in one of those 2 cells. Ah, that's good. I can't put the 5 here because I couldn't put a 5 in box 6. So that's going to be great. That's given me this. Let's check this out. So 5, 1. That's row 5, column 1. I was about to say is a 6, but that's not true, is it? It could be a 6, or it could be a 3 that's been doubled. So that cell is 3 or 6. I don't know how to show that. Maybe I'll put a circle around it or something to try and make myself realise that this is a strange digit. It's being indexed by this. And 5 is in one of those cells. And 6 is in one of those cells. 6 is in one of 2 positions in box 9. No, it's not, because there's a 6 down there, look. Oh. No, well, okay, but the 6 down here means this is a 6. That's big. That is a big deduction, because the 6 down here plonks a 6 here, but that places my 2. I had a 2 pencil mark over here before. Now that's great, because that's putting 2 on that top arrow. So we need to think about that. But we've also got 2 on the bottom arrow. And these 2 squares look like they're 3 and 4. So now I know what those digits are at the top of the column by Sudoku. They are 9, 8, and 6. 6, 8, 9 triple. And okay, now let's not lose track of things here, because there was a sudden epiphany there. Yeah, so we've got 2, row 2, column 3 would be, oh, that can't be a 5, because that would clash in the row. So that's got to be a 4, and that's got to be a 3. Now, row 2, column 6 would be a 6 then. Let's hope that doesn't break any logic. No, it puts a 6 into one of those 3 positions. So this one has done that one. Again, maybe I should... Okay, I need to do this, don't I? I'm going to tick them off. So when they've been indexed, I'll make them orange. And I'm going to claim, and I know this is a slight exaggeration, that those 3 have also been oranged. Because they sort of have, I just don't know by exactly which arrows. Now this one, I don't know, it's going into one of the blues. This one I don't know, because it's going into one of those. And this arrow has got a 2 on it now. It's a 2. Okay, there's it's similar to that arrow, isn't it? It's a 2 and a 3 or a 4, but we know if... Yeah, we know the 2 can't be in the tip, because we looked at this. If the 2's in the tip and it's going with 3 or 4, it's going into one of those cells. That can't be 5, and we've just put that one in, so we can't duplicate it. So the 2 is not in the top. The 2 is in the tip of the arrow, and we're indexing into this column, with row 3, column 2 being a 5. That looks likely. He says, desperately trying to work out why that might not work. Oh, I tell you why it doesn't work. It doesn't work because I've got a 3 looking at that cell, so it can't be row 3, column 2. That's a 4. So it's row 4, column 2. So that should put a... Oh no! No! That's a disaster. Because that's putting a 6 in... Well, it's putting a value of 6 in there, but that means... So that's like a pair. It's a pair of nonsense. Oh, hang on. So what does this mean? Both of these have a value of 6. Okay, so one of them is a double 3. Well, that's good. No, that is good. That's really bizarre. Yeah, we've got a 4-2 and a 2-4, both creating a value of 6 in the same box, which is possible in this puzzle because you can double the 3. So one of these is double 3, but so that cannot be a double 3. So this one, no matter what it is not indexing the blue cell. It's indexing a 9 into this cell. But I don't know whether that's doubled or it's 8. It has the same effect. It's that cell. So that's now been indexed. And, okay, so what are we left to double? We have doubled 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 we haven't, 2 we have, 8 we have, 9 we haven't. No, that's not a doubler. That's a destination. So hang on. So 179, 179, and that's in these 3 boxes. These 3 boxes have a doubled 1, a doubled 7, and a doubled 9. Okay. Okay, look, I've got a 4 here, so these become known. They're 3, 8, 9. These become known. They're 5, 6, and 4. 4, 5, 6. So these squares at the top are 1, 3, 7, I'm going to claim. Oh, I get that digit. Hang on. But let's just do our Sudoku. Well, this is not a 3. This 9 says this is an 8, apparently. And that's a 6. So 6. Oh, no, 6 doesn't seem to be yielding enough goodness, does it? So that was a destination cell, so I can't mess about and try and can that be a doubler? It can't be a doubler unless it's a doubled 1. Because it can't be a doubled 7 or a doubled 9. It would be putting something into row 14 or 18. So if that's a doubler, it's a doubled 1. And it would be putting something into row 2, which would either be a 9 into row 2, column 7, which can't be a 9, so that wouldn't work, or a 3 into row 2, column 1, which doesn't work because there's a 3 here. So that is not a doubler. And now, I don't know where the doubler is in this box, but it's definitely in one of those 2 cells, which means there's definitely a doubler in one of those 3 cells. There's definitely a doubler in one of those 2 cells, so none of these can be doublers. That seems to be a truth. None of these can be doublers. And somehow or other, this is going to resolve, is it? Okay, let's do Sudoku. If I'm forced to, I'm going to do Sudoku. Though, oh, whoopsie. Those digits are a 4-8 pair. I can see that. So I know what these 2 digits are. They are 2 and 5. Still doesn't do it. It's 2 and 5. Ooh, oh, that's good. Right, that's a 3, 6. So definite chance of 3 in the corner. And where is 6 in column 3 now? It can't be there, can't be here, it can't be here, so it's got to be there. So that's a little deduction. Okay. I don't know what to do. Oh, this is bizarre, isn't it? Why is that yellow? It's yellow. That was so one of these was a 7 or an 8. It was something to do with something that we were thinking about before. Yeah, okay, that's good, actually. I don't know which way round. This is resolved. I just don't know which way round it goes, because it was something over here, wasn't it? Because we had the option of one of these being 4, which would be that row. Right. This is not 8 anymore. We're looking at 3 on the right with a double 2 on the arrow tip. So row 3, column 4 is a 7. That is a 7, and it can't. That's good, actually, because that cell, which we've just indexed, cannot be a doubler, because I need it to have its natural value, to have the value of 7. So that's going to give me a doubler here. And hang on. Oh, this is lovely. Look. I get a 7 here. I've got to have a 1 there by Sudoku, and I know the doubler in this box is 1, 7, or 9. It's 9 now, which means that's not 9 at the bottom of this. But what were we looking for here? Was it a 1, 9 pair down here to index this, row 1, column 9? So that's not a 1 anymore. And one of these was indexing the 6, which was a 7, 5. And I know which one that is, because that's not 7 and that's not 5. So that's 7, that's 5. Let's tidy up our pencil mark. So one of these is 1, 9. And there's a doubler here, and that does it straight away. What's the doubler on here? I know it's got to be a 1 or a 7, because those are the ones I haven't allocated. Well, it's not 7, so there must be a doubled 1 in here. And if there's a doubled 1 in here, this is not the 1, 9 arrow. This is the 1, 9 arrow. Now there's a 9 up here. There's a 5 up there as well by Sudoku. This is a 1, 5, 9 triple. Something's doubled here, which we'll have to think about. Well, we know it's the 1, I just don't know where it goes. This arrow, we know what it is now. Although I'm not desperately enamoured with that. It's a 2 it's a 2 underneath the 3 by Sudoku. So that is row 3, column 2. I can't get that at the moment. That's a message coming in. Row 3, column 2. 5. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I can put 5 in there. So that's 5. That's 2. How do I make a phone call go away? I don't know how to do that. Okay, 1, 5, 9 here, 4, 8. So this is a 4 or an 8 at the top of column. The top of the column. In this row, we need 2 and 8. So that's 2 or 8. Oh, bobbins! I can't get the final bit done. It's probably this arrow, isn't it? And what's happening on it? I know there's a doubled 1. Yeah, okay. But let's imagine that this arrow didn't have doubled 1 on it. Then it would be 5s and 9s, which is too much. Because again, once we've worked this out before, we can't put a value of 9 on an arrow anymore. It's just too big. So this has got to be a 1, 5 pair. This has got to be the 9. Now what I don't know, that's not 9. I think 9 and 7 were paired up in this box. What we don't know about this, unfortunately, we can do a lot of tidying, is which way round they go. So no, it's not going to be row 1 either, because the 1 is doubled. So row 2, column 5, well, that can't be a 7. That cannot be a 7. And row 5, column 2, can that be a 7? I'm going to claim it can. So I think it's got to be that. So this is a row 5, column 2. It doesn't look like it, but that is what's going on, because this one is doubled. This one is not. This one is not. Oh, well, that's really beautiful. Not only is this not 1 by Sudoku, but it's not the double 2 by doubler logic. So that's got to be 7, 9 by the most weird jiggery pokery. Okay, so that's lovely. That's definitely not doubled. I still don't know how this resolves. That was a destination cell, so I should orangeify it. And oh, I don't know what to do. Okay, never mind. So one of these was 8-1, wasn't it, going across, and one of these was 3-2. I don't know. 7? Yeah, 7 we can place in box 5. That's just Sudoku coming to our rescue. And okay, and I need a doubled... Oh, that's lovely. That's going to do it. Because I haven't doubled 7 in the puzzle. And I have to double it in those 3 cells. And the 2 of them are looking at 7s. So that's a doubled 7. These are both natural now. But that's going to fix this one. So this is not a doubler. And this... it does indeed fix it, because that being a doubler, it certainly can't be doubled 8. So that's got to be doubled 4. This is the 8 in this column. In this column we've not put in 2 and 4, but apparently we can't resolve it yet, at least. But this 4 is telling us that's not the doubler. So that's 6, and that's the doubled 3. It's just a remarkable puzzle, actually, this. It really is clever. Now that's got to be the doubler. So that's got to be a 2 with a 3 next to it. This is a 1 with an 8 next to it. Let's deal with all of this jiggery-pokery. Now the 2 is lovely because it gives me a 2 here and a 4 here. That digit's a 5 by Sudoku. We've got a 4-6 pair. We need 1, 5, 8. Oh, well. Oh, no 3 in the corner. Sorry. No 3 in the corner for us. That's definitely not a 6 anymore. This is a 1-8 pair. Oh, no, it's not. Where's 1 in row 4? It's got to go there. So 1, 8, 8, 4. 4 at the top of the grid. 4 in box 1 is placed. What were these? 5, 8, was it? Oh, the 5 I can put in now. 5, 8. Okay. I still haven't done that arrow, but never mind. I hope we'll get there one day. What about this column then? 2 and 8 are a pair. I don't know if that's resolved. I can't see how it is. And these squares have got to include a 1 and a 9. Okay, that we can do. So 9, 1, 7, 3. This digit... Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. That's a 1 by Sudoku. And now this arrow has become 2 natural 1s. So in row 1, column 1, that digit, I write a 2. And I can just do it. So now these include 3 and 8, which is great. I can do that. This column has not had 3 and 4, I think. And if that's all gone to plan, that's a 2 by Sudoku. That is a remarkably clever puzzle. That was not easy. Let's just tick it. Is it right? Yes. Oh my goodness, only had 17 solves. Whoa. Anyway, I'm very pleased to be the 17th person to get through that. That was brilliant. Erin, it was a great recommendation. Damo_89. That is a very, very intricate puzzle. Yeah, I agree with the tester who said it's one for the connoisseurs. It's a very beautifully set. It's got some lovely, lovely ideas in it. It's just a little bit hard for my brain. Some of it's quite difficult to explain, I felt, but I think I was logical. I mean, you'll tell me if I wasn't. And hopefully I did an okay job in explaining what I thought was going on. Let me know how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.